Hello and welcome to our VectorVest strategy presentation titled How to Find the Best Shares in the Hottest Industries. My name is Brian D'Amico, Manager of Educational Services here at VectorVest, and it's my pleasure to present the strategy to you. Today's strategy is all about putting the probability of success on your side. How do we do that? Well, when we buy a share, we want the share price to rise, right? And when do most share prices rise? When the market is rising. Knowing when the share market is rising alone will put the odds in your favor. But how can we stack the deck in our favor even more? Well, we'll do that by selecting our shares from the industries that are rising the most at that time. And one of the great things about VectorVest is we make it very simple for you to know when the share market is rising, which industries are the hottest, and which are the best shares in those industries. So let's get right into VectorVest and take a look at how to do it. We'll start off here by looking at our market timing graph. And you can clearly see the market has trends. You can see it goes down, then up, down, and up, and so on. The key is knowing when to get in. And I'm going to add one of our market timing signals called the green light buyer to the graph. And I want you to notice something. After each market pullback, there is a first green light which occurs right near the market bottom. So here again, the market pulled back. You have a very first green light, a market pullback, a first green light, and so on each time after a market pullback. So when you get that first green light, that's a signal that the market is rising. And what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that most share prices are rising at that time as well. Additionally, there are typically certain industries that are leading the pack at that time. By identifying those industries and buying the best shares in those industries, you put the odds of success in your favor. Let me show you how to do it. Here recently on February 10th, 2014, we had the first green light after this market pullback. Let me just zoom in so we can get a closer look. So I'll just zoom in. And here you can see that first green light after the market bottomed here on the 5th of February. Now I want you to imagine that it is the 10th of February. So you're sitting at your computer, it is the 10th of February, and you've got this first green light. So to help us visualize that, I'm actually going to move the graph back. So all we see on the right hand side is what it would have looked like on the 10th of February. So on that day you would have been sitting at your computer, you would have seen that VectorVest gave a first green light after this big pullback in the market. And what you're going to do is just count how many days off of the market bottom you were. Alright, so here was the market bottom. So this green light was 1, 2, 3 days off the market bottom. So write that down. We were 3 days off the bottom. So what we want to do is find which industries are the hottest over those 3 days. And then what we'll do is buy the best stocks in those industries. And we'll be able to do this by adding just one line to a search. So let's go to the Unisearch and I'll show you how simple it is to find the hottest industries and the best stocks in those industries. So I'll come up and click on the Unisearch tab. So the first thing you'd want to do is select your favorite search. Now I'd recommend using a search like the top VST vector stocks, and that's in the prudent folder. I'm just going to scroll down and you'll see top VST vector stocks. That way I know it's going to return the shares that have the best combination of value, safety, and timing. Alright, so I'm just going to pull this down so we can take a look at the search a little bit better. There we go. Remember, we're picturing sitting at our computer the 10th of February. So this date up here would actually have shown the 10th of February. So I'll just select that. So that's what it would have looked like on that day. First, let me just run this search on the 10th of February. So this is finding the top VST stocks in the entire database on that day. And let me just quick test them from that day until now. Alright, so we can see here 8 of them went up, only 2 of them went down, for an average gain of just about 8%. So that's pretty good. We basically doubled the market's performance just with top VST stocks. Alright, so let me close that. Now let's try to put probability on our side of getting either more winners or a larger gain. And we're going to do that by finding the hottest industries over the past 3 days, since we're 3 days off the market bottom. So to do that, I'm just going to add one line to this search. Alright, so I'm going to click here, go to Stocks, Filter By, because I'm going to filter by something, and I'm going to be filtering by the industry group. So I'll select that, come over to the operator, and say it has to equal. Now watch this. I'm going to click in the value box, and I'm going to select this choice right here called Top Delta Industries. Alright, so when I select that, we have a bunch of presets here for you. Now since I'm looking for a 3-day period, and 3 days is not one of the presets, I'm going to come down and choose Custom. And what I want to do, instead of looking at 10 industries, I'm going to lower that down to 5. Since there's about 30 industries in the database, I only want to look at the hottest 5 industries. And then down here, I'm going to change this. Instead of 10 days, I'm going to look at 3 days. So I want to find out the 5 industries that have been the hottest over the past 3 days, not by VST, but I'm going to change this to relative timing, because I just want to look at the price trend. So what this is going to do is it's only going to look in the 5 industries that have increased the most in relative timing over the past 3 days. I'll click OK. Alright, so when I run this search, we have a different list of stocks here, and if I scroll over to the right, it'll show you the industries. So we should see some repeats in here. So we've got telecom services here, here, and here, and then we got materials, market indices, and consumer staples. So these are among the top 5 industries over the past few days. And what we've got here are the top VST stocks from those industries. Alright, so let's come up and see how these have done. So I'll click on Quick Test Top 10. And there we go. We got 9 winners. And now our gain is over 13.5%. Now, will you always get a higher gain by doing this? Not necessarily. Our top VST stocks are pretty good all by themselves. However, by only looking at the top industries, you're putting probability on your side. Probability of finding more winners and probability of getting a higher gain. Alright, so let's recap how to do this so you know how to do it going forward. So the first thing we're going to do is look for the first green light after a market bottom. So it'll look something like this. The market will have come down, it will have been in an obvious downtrend, and then it'd be coming up off the bottom, and then you would have gotten that green light. Alright, so that's the first thing. The second thing we're going to do is count the number of days from the market bottom to that green light. So here we can see here was the bottom, and we'd have said 1 day, 2 days, 3 days from the market bottom. So now that we know how many days we are off the market bottom, let's go modify a search so that we can tell it to find the hottest industries over those number of days. So to do that, we'll go over here to number 3, and we'll go to the Unisearch tool, and we'll select our search. And I showed you how to use the top VST vector stock search, which is in the Prudent folder. That's a great search to start with. After you do that, you'll add the industry delta filter. Alright, so I included some pictures here to help you out. So you go to the empty box in the parameter column and go to Stocks, go to Filter By and select Industry Group. So once you've selected your industry group, go to the operator column and choose Equals, and then click in the value box, go to Top Delta Industries, go down to Custom, and once you select Custom, a box like this will pop up. Once it does, you're going to want to select 5 industries, so you'll lower this number to 5, change the number of days. So in this example, we did a 3-day period. Sometimes you'll be 6 days off the bottom, sometimes 8. So put that number in this box, and then select RT. And then once you do that, just hit OK, and then you're ready to run your search. Voila! That's how you can use VectorVest to find the best shares in the hottest industries in a rising market. If you have any questions on how to do this, don't hesitate to call us or email us. We're here to help. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and we look forward to working with you. Have a great weekend, everyone.